Hello everybody, this is GamePro24X, and today we're going to be talking about Berserk Form in Oneechanbara Origins. So there is a lot to talk about for this video, and there's a lot of things that I have recently discovered that I never really knew about when it came to Berserk Form. So without any further delay, let's get into it. So right off the bat, the game teaches you about the Berserk Forms, because this is going to be the main component as to how you acquire more power and do more damage and clear your levels a lot faster than normal. If you go under gallery and tips, there's a more detailed explanation about the Berserk form, but the main gist of it is that when you attack zombies, you kill zombies, you attain blood stains on your character, which shows up on the character's profile, their icon, which is right next to their health bar, and as soon as that's filled up, you go into Berserk form. Now you can speed this up by using the Blood Clots, which is the item you acquire when you cool finish a Mudman. You cannot buy them from the store. The only way to obtain them is from Mudmen themselves. And while you're in Berserk form, they actually act as another healing source, which is really good. If you perform cool finishers, the zombies will drop blood crystals. And these blood crystals are a really good source of transforming to your Berserk form a lot faster than just typically attacking with your sword. So characters like Aya, whose cool finisher can literally clear out a whole room if you align yourself correctly, is really good for going into Berserk form in mere seconds when you start a fight. And of course, under the tips menu, there is a more detailed explanation about the blood crystals. But it doesn't really tell you anything new, it just tells us what we already know. But they also can heal you as well while you're in Berserk form, so that is also really nice. So if you perform cool finishers in Berserk form, that is just another way for you to heal yourself. So we're going to go ahead and boot up practice mode, and we're going to wail on this Mudman zombie and keep on wailing on him until we transform into Berserk mode. So after many tests, there are some things that I have discovered when it came to transforming. It does not matter what type of attack you're doing. It does not matter if you're using attack boosting rings or attack reducing rings. They do not alter how quickly or how slowly you transform into Berserk mode. Conversely, I was under the assumption that if you perform cool combos, you transform into Berserk mode faster, and it turns out that is not the case either. It all strictly relies on hits. Whether you're doing normal hits or cool combo hits, you will transform into Berserk mode at the same exact rate either way. Also, ecstatic combos sometimes can give you more bloodstains, but most of the time they don't. So Aya will always transform into Berserk mode after exactly 400 hits, every time. An interesting thing that I discovered is that Saki actually has a lower hit requirement to transform into Berserk mode. I'm not really sure why, but I believe it's because of like their weapons. See, with Aya, she has dual swords, and that right there could help stack up a combo hit really quick. So it makes sense that they kind of like pushed her limit a little bit further compared to Saki, where she can't really do that many hits compared to her sister. So Aya takes 400 hits to transform, and Saki takes 250 hits to transform. Now, I do want to make an addendum to my rings video. See, I originally did not really notice much of a difference when I initially used the Ring of the Baneful. However, after doing extensive testing with Berserk mode, I can actually show you guys a legitimate difference when using the rings. Not to mention, I didn't really have a really good way of testing how to even show off how this ring works to begin with. So yeah, I am adding this addendum here to say, yes, this ring actually does make a difference, and it might be something you might want to check out. Now, what this ring does is it helps you accumulate more stains on your body every time you land a hit. I do not believe the blood crystals are affected at all. This only applies to when you are slashing mobs with your swords. So at approximately 320 hits, Aya will transform into Berserk mode, which compared to 400, that's an 80 hit difference. So you will transform a lot faster, with just wearing one of these rings. And with Saki, while wearing one ring, instead of taking 250 hits to transform, she'll only transform at 208 hits. So again, a massive difference with just one ring. Now, if you're wearing two of these rings, it further reduces the hits required by a lot. So, for Aya, she needs 297 hits to transform. And with Saki, she needs 186 hits to transform. So to quickly recap, with no rings attached, Aya takes 400 hits to transform, and Saki takes 250 hits to transform. And with one ring equipped, Aya requires 320 hits to transform, and Saki takes 207 hits to transform, which is roughly a 20% difference for Aya and a 17.2% difference with Saki. And finally, with two rings equipped, Aya requires 297 hits to transform, while Saki needs 186 hits to transform, which comes out to around 25% hit difference between both of them. So yeah, Ring of the Baneful actually does something pretty useful. However, it does come with a negative, and that negative is it reduces your defense by a bit. So you will take more damage while wearing the ring. So take that with what you will. One last thing I wanted to test with Berserk was the duration of it. So if you did not know this, if you actually swap out your partner will stay in Berserk form indefinitely until you swap them in, and then the timer starts running down. Both of the sisters will run out of Berserk form at the same exact time, which is around 45 seconds. So you have 45 seconds to go back into Ecstatic form, or collect more blood orbs, or start slashing more zombies to partially fill back up your blood gauge to stay in that form for a little longer. So this was all done in the same exact session, and as you can see, Saki still has her blood gauge completely full when I swapped her out. So utilize that information very well, because I definitely took advantage of that in survival, where I would transform one character, swap over, and do that to the next, and kind of have that character as a backup for quicker boss kills during survival mode. Whoops, wrong game. Sorry about that. What happens when you go beyond Berserk? You go Ecstatic. After reaching Berserk mode, the more attacks you dish out, you then transform into Ecstatic. With it comes the ability to heal on hit, way more damage, but with the only sacrifice being that you drain health per second. But it is by far the biggest and best change I like in Origins. Upon reaching the half point in the first story in Oneechanbara Origins, you have the ability to now transform into Ecstatic Form. And while it does share the same properties as Berserk Form, it does have a few little caveats here and there that I will demonstrate. Now, unlike Berserk Form, the hit requirement is actually the same between both sisters. Both Aya and Saki will reach Ecstatic Form after landing 72 hits. Rings of the Baneful do not affect this whatsoever. It is always going to be 72 hits. Unlike Berserk Form, Ecstatic Form actually lasts a lot shorter if you do not attack any mobs. So with Berserk it lasts 45 seconds, with Ecstatic it only lasts 25 seconds. And this is the same for both characters. Now, the key to maintaining your ecstatic form is you just need to go ham. You need to just keep attacking anything and everything you see relentlessly. Now, as you can see, my blood gauge is actually filling up a lot more, and that's what's going to determine the duration of your ecstatic form. Now, just like what the Ring of Baneful described, you acquire more stains on your body when you attack, so this ring actually does help you stay in this form a lot longer. Now, without the ring, you still do accumulate blood pretty quick if you know what you're doing. So it's not 100% needed, but it may come in clutch when you really need it to save your character from losing their transformation. And the last little neat detail about Ecstatic Form is that when you transform, it actually grayscales all the color around you, which I thought was a pretty neat touch. And now, with all that said and done, this is how fast you can expect to transform into Berserk form, and conversely, into Ecstatic form if you know exactly what you're doing. Here I'm using this advanced technique that I discovered and perfected while streaming. I did not give it a name yet, but I will soon, and I will make a more in-depth video about it. But as you can see, it helped me accumulate a lot of hits really quick, and of course, when I transformed into Berserk mode, I was quickly able to transform into Ecstatic form, no problem. Of course, if I had thrown in some quick finishers along the way, and picked up some blood crystals, I could also transform a lot faster that way too. So your main goal when it comes to transforming is to use attacks that can hit a large area pretty quickly. When Saki's using her sword, the triangle square combo is really good for this, especially when zombies are grouped up. With Aya, it's best to just stun zombies and use a cool finisher in order to clean up an entire area and pick up the blood crystals. I hope all this information was helpful because unlike Devil Trigger, this isn't something you could just turn on a whim. You actually have to know what you're doing and take advantage of the situation. But mastering and learning how to maintain these forms is going to be your key to victory. So if you thought this game couldn't get any more culture enough, you could actually change the blood color from red to white. And yeah, fellow men of culture will know what this resembles.